and left the hotel. To this day, he vows never to go back and won't tell anybody why. I don't know.
If I know Jim Carrey, nothing happened.
Not a damn thing
Not
happened.
a damn thing.
He's just doing this to fuck with people.
He just wanted to do that. And he'll just be like, and now that he's super crazy in his older age, he's probably like, oh no.
Oh, I saw ghosts.
I can't tell you what I saw. He's just fucking with people.
Exactly.
Again, he really, in some aspects, he really is our Andy Kaufman.
He really is. And he's doing it on purpose, much like Andy Kaufman. We'll get to that movie sometime, and boy.
That's literally my favorite comedian of all time, so you're damn right we're getting to that movie.
In both the theatrical version and the director's cut, Petey, Harry's pet bird's death happens on screen. However, in the extended version, Petey is heard squawking, and the sound effects of Petey's neck snapping, neck being snapped by Joe Mentalino is heard. I think I saw the extended version.
Yep.
Because I didn't see the bird get killed. So.
Well, I heard that.
Yeah, I heard that.
So,
I didn't see it happen.
Yeah.
An entire subplot was filmed involving Mary's kidnapped husband Bobby being kept in a wooden shipping crate, but was ultimately discarded. The brief scene was Nicholas and Shay discuss the snow owl incident, which originally led into the scene, where Bobby manages to escape while he's still inside the crate. Well, we'll get to it later. An alternate ending scene was filmed where Barney the Bellman offers Harry and Lloyd a job of babysitting his grandson, who turns out to be Billy the blind kid. That would have been kind of funny.
I guess, yeah.
Jim Carrey refused to shoot an alternate ending of Harry and Lloyd getting on the bus with the Hawaiian Tropic Girls.
Yeah.
That's fair. I wouldn't want to film that either. Good things don't happen to them.
That's the thing. Like, it's not like, oh, and it all worked out and they became oil boys. No.
No, they should not. They should not do that. So, let's see the legacy of this film. The film is mostly average to negative with critics.
Of course.
Roger Ebert gave the film 2 stars for the hit-or-miss comedic elements, but praised the performances of Carrey and Daniels, dubbing the former a true original, and writing that the dead parakeet joke made me laugh so loudly I embarrassed myself.
Excuse me, sir. Over here. Question.
Yes.
If you gave this film a 2-star review, but say that, they're good in it, and they're in
90%
about
of it?
90% of the film?
Yep.
How is it a 2-star film?
I don't know. I mean,
there's not many scenes in this film that doesn't have at least one or both on screen.
I agree. I can only think of one offhand right now. Maybe 2.
There's the scene with the henchman. That's it.
That's pretty much it.
And there's only like a handful of them before Joe finds his way to Lloyd and Harry. Mm-hmm. And there's one scene with Nicholas and Shay talking about the snow owl getting killed. Mm-hmm. But most of it is either Harry or Lloyd, or Harry and Lloyd on screen. So if you're going to say, they're really good in it.
I don't know. I'm guessing, again, I think he's expecting a clever comedy, which is just idiotic.
I don't mean to be at odds with the Dead Band's reviews, but
you're going to disagree, right?
I find myself disagreeing with every one of these reviews week in, week out on this show, and it's becoming a theme at this point.
To be fair, we tend to like shit.
I exclusively like shit.
Exactly. So we're going to disagree with the great Siskel and Ebert pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
How dare you? That piece of shit was great.
That's kind of it. I mean, to be fair, what are we arguing here? A movie called Dumb and Dumber was a comedic tour de force? No, it's a fucking dumbass movie with a bunch of idiots running around on screen.
Well, it kind of was a comedic tour de force, if you want to go that route.
To be fair, but it's still fucking bunch of idiots running around. What do you expect?
That's a Jim Carrey movie.
I know, and he doesn't seem to be a fan of those, which is weird because he seems to like Jim Carrey.
Buffoonery.
I'm aware of that.
Tomfoolery.
It has, much like with most of his films we cover, since become a cult hit.
Of course. Which makes no sense, because I thought the whole term cult is the movie made no money.
I think cult has become a thing where people sort of
like if the critics hated
it. Critics and people sort of write it off as schlock, and then it becomes like people fucking like rally behind it. I was the same thing.
All these movies made $1 bajillion.
I was the same thing. I used to think it was money, but apparently it's not money. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, out of the 4 next week's is the only legitimately cult hit.
Yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Although that movie didn't flop.
No, it didn't. It just didn't make $1 bajillion.
It made like $2.
Yeah.
When the film went to the top of the U.S. box office. It gave Jim Carrey the distinction. Did I already say this? I did. Never mind. Jeff Daniels claimed he was at a golf course one day when Clint Eastwood told him that he had just seen the movie. Daniels braced himself for a negative reaction, but to his surprise, Eastwood wanted to tell Daniels that the bathroom scene had happened to him once when he was on a date.
Hey, Jeff, yes, Mr. Eastwood? I gotta tell you, I saw that Dumb and Dumber. Like, Jesus, okay.
I can't believe I had that happen to me.
Like, when Dirty Harry rocks up on you on the golf course.
I mean, it's funny because he tells
From
that
one
story...
Harry to another. I love the film.
It's funny because he apparently tells that story everywhere, and I'm like, yeah. Of course you did, because I'd be telling that story to everybody on the fucking planet. Like, if I'm Jeff Daniels being like, Clint fucking Eastwood just told me that he had fucking shit problems on a date. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Jim Carrey also believes that this is the funniest movie he's been in. I disagree.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he likes it.
Like laughs per capita? No, I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
That might be last week's.
Might be. Last week's I liked more than I remembered. In 1995, a Hanna-Barbera-produced animated series that aired for one season on ABC with Matt Fowler voicing Lloyd and Bill Faberbake voicing Harry.
Max Headroom himself?
Yep.
Matt Fowler?
Matt Frewer, yes. Why did I keep saying Fowler? It's Frewer.
It's Frewer.
Yeah. Max Headroom voiced Lloyd, which is interesting.
Okay. If we ever come across a movie with Matt Frewer in it, we'll get the Max Headroom, I'm sure.
Oh, fuck yeah. I know that there'll be movies with Matt Frewer, because, I like that dude a lot. I even remember that Dumb and Dumber cartoon even being shit.
Yeah.
They did hang out with a beaver, though, which is just... I mean, as an adult, I'm like, that's just rife with comedy.
Yeah. I like that all three of these movies had cartoons.
Of course they did. He was huge with kids. Why wouldn't you?
His movies should not be huge with kids.
No, but it was the late 80s, early 90s. That's what we did.
Although Ace Ventura is at its heart a film noir, so like I don't know if that should have been a kid's movie.
It shouldn't have been. Their fucking first couple minutes is a blowjob.
And murder. So
lots of murder.
Yeah.
In 2003, a prequel was released entitled Dumb and Dumberer: When Harry Met Lloyd. The film featured a cast and crew different from the previous film, and the Farrelly brothers had no involvement in the film's production. It was panned by critics and audiences. It grossed approximately $39.2 million against a budget of $19 million. That shit was almost profitable. That was a piece of dog shit.
Hawk 2.
A sequel entitled Dumb and Dumber 2.
Which I've never seen.
I have seen recently in preparation. I'll get to that in a minute. Was shot in the fall of 2013. Carrey and Daniels returned to the lead in the film, and Bobby and Peter Farrelly returned to direct, along with original screenwriter Bennett Yellen. The actors reprising their role from the first film include Brady Bloom, who played Billy in Apartment 4C, and Cam Neely, who played Seabass. Dumb and Dumber 2 was released on November 14th, 2014, with generally negative reviews from critics, although it did well commercially, making $169 million against a budget of $50 million. Okay, so I did see it in preparation for this. It's not as bad as you'd think it's going to be.
Okay.
It's not good. It is not good by any stretch of the imagination.
I don't think it had any chance.
No, it really didn't.
They waited way too long.
They did, but the difference between it is, A, they've made them infinitely dumber. Mm-hmm. So they're at the point, like in this movie, they're just stupid. But they can function in normal society. In this movie, they should just be falling down a lot because they're that stupid. And the jokes are infinitely more mean-spirited.
Oh, okay.
Like, they're mean to everybody.
It's just crude.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I mean, to be fair, like, the best tone I could say is that there's a scene where they're in an old age home with an old woman, and they're reaching to try and find something she said is under the fucking bed, or under her, in her bed. And then she's just like, yes, right there, and you can see where we're going here. They're clearly, playing with the old lady. And then she's just like, okay, that was enough, whatever, so she's finished. And it was like, oh my god, I can't believe you made me do that. And then Jim Carrey pulls his hand out and literally blows dust off his hand. That's not a good joke.
I'm good.
You know what I mean?
I'm just gonna sit here in this memory of Dumb and Dumber, and
there's a lot of great things in it, like callbacks to the original, in the sense of, like, yes, Billy the Blind Kid's there, and he's really into fucking birds, so he's got birds all over his fucking house. Freda Felcher is mentioned. The whole plot of the movie is that Harry needs to go find his long-lost daughter, who he made with Freda Felcher. I won't say what happens then in case you ever want to see it, but, like, that... There is references to this film, and they're done well. I mean, you know, Seabass aside, that was just kind of stupid and thrown in there, but it's not, like I said, it's not as bad as you'd think it's going to be, but it's not good. Like, I don't recommend you watch it, but if you really want to go, I'd like to see what they did with these characters, you won't walk out going, what the fuck is wrong with this? You'll be like, it's fine.
I'm good.
Yeah.
So we stick to the original, Dumb and Dumber, starting with... something you don't normally see, I don't think, like a cold open. Just start right with a scene.
Yeah, it's not a common thing in movies very often. I do like when it happens, though.
See a woman at a bus stop, limo pulls up, window goes down, Jim Carrey with his bowl cut and chipped tooth head pops out.
Excuse me, I'm late for a medical conference. Do you know where the such and such building is? Yes, it is that way and to the left over the bridge. It's a lovely accent you have there. No, I'm not going to do
Where's
the
it
stage
from?
play. I'm not going to do the stage play.
Austria.
Austria. Well, g'day, mate.
Put another shrimp on the barbie. I'm like, oh, okay.
And I do like that she goes, let's not. And walks away. It's like, and this look of, like, disdain, his sadness, just like, okay. And then he gets his head stuck in the thing. And
puts back, and then jumps to the front seat. He's actually the driver of it. Drives off to go pick up his...
his fare, then we cut to Harry.
In his sheepdog mobile.
Sheepdog mobile, and he's dressed like a sheepdog, which I always thought is overkill.
I mean, this car is probably the most iconic thing from this movie.
Oh, definitely. And yes, it does make an appearance in the sequel.
It's a super famous movie car at this point in time.
I think so. I think it has become one, yeah.
He's got all the dogs in the back, and he's got different foods for the dogs, and then he's like, okay, who's got the big, the foot long, and then the smallest dog comes out. He's like, oh, you wish.
Very funny, Roscoe. And yeah, he's basically giving them all people food, and then he's getting yelled at to show up at the dog show because he's got a bunch of dogs that he's bathed and clipped and everything like that, and he's like, okay, I'm running late and whatever.
And driving very fast, and the dogs are going sliding back and forth. Sliding forward and back. Lloyd picks up Mary. And the minute he sees her, she's like, oh, I just gotta go get somebody to close the door. And then I think he has a heart attack.
Yeah, he sort of grabs his heart and goes, oh my god.
Like, she's so hot that I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
What is with the Farrelly brothers and
that
lead actress's name Mary?
That is true. What was the name of the chick in fucking Kingpin?
I don't. If it's Mary, Jesus.
I'm gonna go look that up.
So it's Mary Swanson, of course, the future Mrs. Jim Carrey for a year. And the dog, Harry gets to the dog show, and the woman waiting for the dogs is Lynn Shay, Bob Shay's sister.
Yep, because why not?
And he's like, don't worry, the dogs are fine. I bathed and clipped them myself. They're great. Haircut, everything. Open the door, the dogs are covered in, like...
Mustard and
ketchup.
Because,
he had hot dogs.
Yeah.
And she, like, pretty much almost passes out.
It's like, well, on second thought, you might want to run a comb through.
Yeah. Like, that'll settle it.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Lloyd dropping Mary off at the airport. Goodbye, it's just so weird. And then he goes in for a hug, and she's like,
what the hell? Because, like, he's talking to her the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Like, and, where are you going, and what are you doing?
Like, you having a, her name's Claudia. Yeah. No, that's a shame.
You're going to Aspen. California, eh?
She doesn't correct him. I do like that he's just like, so, where are you going to the airport? Flying somewhere? What was your first guess? Well, I saw the luggage, and, when I saw the airline ticket, that pretty much summed it up for me. Like, that's the good stupid, you know what I mean? And that's where the second movie got it wrong. But anyway, so like, they do a whole joke where he's not looking, and then a fucking car blows up.
Well, because he's following her.
Yeah.
In the car, like, bye.
Oh, no. That was while they were still talking. So this is when she's already gone.
Oh, right. He's turned around. I hate
goodbyes, and everything like that. Yeah. So we'll...
Goes for an uncomfortable hug, and he holds on. he holds that hug, and she's just like,
goodbye.